channel. So today I wanted to talk about procrastination. I think a lot of us are really good at writing things down, making spreads, planning, making lists, but then it doesn't really mean anything if you don't then go and do the actual tasks that you wrote down, right? So today I want to give you guys 5 tips that have really helped me to get things done. So tip number 1 isn't just to write things down in your planner. What helps me is that I write it down on a bright piece of Post-it. Ideally something that stands out from your usual planner style. So for me, I like a more simplistic look. I like it to be neutral. I don't like a bunch of stickers or random things. So I tend to use these really, what I think are kind of ugly Post-its that are really loud. So when there's a task that I don't want to do or I've been putting off for a long time, I will write it on a piece of Post-it onto usually my daily spread, because that's what I'll look at the most each day. But if you use a weekly, you can stick it on the weekly as well, whatever you use for your planning style. And I like to put it on this bright sticky because I almost like want to get rid of this, you know, because I don't like it sitting there. So it'll prompt me more to get it done. So obviously if you're procrastinating every single task, then you're going to have like a million tasks, and that could work too. Like you could have a million sticky notes, and there's just something satisfying about being like, oh, I'm done that, and ripping it off. It's like one step further than the little check that I know that we all love to do, right? Sometimes you just like write something down, even though you've already done it, just so you can go back in and check it off, right? So if you put in an ugly sticky note, I think this is ugly in comparison to my aesthetic. Don't be offended if you love bright pink. When I put it on this, I'm much more likely to go and do it. Okay, so tip number 2 is to lower the barrier of getting the item done. So an easy example might be you want to start going for morning runs. What you might want to do is put your running clothes on your dresser the night before, have your running shoes sitting by the door so that as soon as you wake up, you get into those clothes, you go down the stairs and you see the shoes, and then you go. Instead of changing into other clothes, going down for breakfast, looking for your running shoes, you're less likely to then get into that task because there's so many steps and things you still have to think about to do. If you already have it ready there for you, then you're much more likely to go and do it. For my planner and planning, what I found is that in the past, sometimes if I have my planner closed and sitting somewhere, I'm less likely to go in and check it. Whereas if I have it open and sitting on my desk, which is where I go to first thing in the morning, I'm much more likely to look at it because it's already sitting there. Or if you have it on your kitchen counter or wherever you go first thing in the morning, have your planner open and sitting there. You're much more likely to glance at it and see what you're supposed to do for that day and get started on that task right away. Related to that is having a daily planner or a daily spread. And I have a video I'll link up here about why I started doing daily planning. I used to be a weekly planner only. But what I found is if I'm only looking at my weekly plans, oops, sorry guys. If I'm only looking at my weekly plans, sometimes I'll be like, oh shoot, tomorrow I got to do this, 2 days from now I got to do that. And it kind of gets me sidetracked and gets my head spinning about all these other things that I have to do and takes me away from the task at hand or just getting into the day and doing the tasks I need to do that day. I waste 10 minutes just thinking about and worrying about what I'm doing the rest of the week, whereas I really should just get down to business and do what I have for the day. So I like to use a daily planner or a daily insert, and I do my daily plan the night before. And in particular, I always have a time daily. And the reason I like that is because I wake up in the morning and I can go here and see my task for first thing in the morning is this, or my task after that is this, right? And then I have on the side the task that it doesn't matter what time I get done. But if I have it timed, I'm less likely to forget, more likely to start doing it, especially if I have my planner open where I am. And all these inserts are from my shop. I'll link it down below if you're interested, but it can be any insert. You could just draw out a timeline. I find that really helpful. Otherwise, you're scrolling through your tasks for the day and be like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, blah, 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 right? But if you have it in the timeline, then you're much more likely to say, this is the time, this is what I'm doing at that time, and getting it done. So tip number 3 is to try the Pomodoro Method. And in this method, you're basically doing a task for 25 minutes on, then you break for 5 minutes, and then you get back on the 25 minutes and then break for 5 minutes, and so on. The reason why this is helpful is that sometimes getting started is really the hardest part. And once you get started, you get things flowing and it seems a lot easier, and you just naturally keep going until you complete that task. So I think what most often people find is that they'll start the first 25 minutes and then they'll be itching to continue because they kind of got their juices flowing. And also, because it's only 25 minutes, they kind of have this time limit, and it's kind of like you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're not just going on forever. You're just saying, I'm just going to try 5 minutes, and after that, I can stop if I want to. That seems a lot less daunting than saying, I have to write an essay until the end, right? So that's really a good method that I found is really helpful, especially for that type of intense work, intense projects that take a long time. Doing this method really gets me more motivated to start, I guess, because I know I only have to do it for 25 minutes. Tip number 4 is to link what you have to do with a reward. So, for example, if I get all the laundry done, then I can browse Instagram. Or if I get my essay done, I can watch an episode of Dexter. I don't know. If you have a reward linked to what you're doing, you'll feel much more motivated to get that task done because you know you have something to look forward to at the end, right? So I found that it's really helpful to write my task to do that I have to do, and then write under it what I get to do once I've completed that task. It could be browsing Instagram, it could be going to the mall, it could be, I don't know, watching your favorite show, whatever it is. Link them together so that you're more motivated to do the hard task. I find especially when I link that with the Pomodoro Method, it helps me a lot. So I write an essay or whatever for 25 minutes, and then I get to browse Instagram for 5 minutes. Write my essay for 25 minutes, browse Instagram for 5 minutes. That's tip number 4. So tip number 5 is to make reminders on your phone or your iPad or your laptop, whatever you're looking at most of the day. For me, I just do it in my phone, in my reminders, and I find it really helpful to use my iWatch to do that, or my Apple Watch. So I'll just say, remind me at 9 a.m. to do the laundry, let's say. I like that because sometimes you're not by your planner, and so even if you have the sticky note or you have it written down, you've just forgotten because you're doing so many things throughout the day around your house or something that's not at your desk. It's a way to constantly remind you until you do it, right? So what I do, I set the timer, and especially if it's something that's time sensitive and very important for me to get done, I set the timer, and then if I don't do it, I'll put remind me in an hour, remind me in an hour, and it continuously pops up throughout the day, right? So again, it's that thing of it's constantly reminding you to do it, and if you don't do it, it's going to keep bothering you, and it's satisfying just to mark it complete and get it out of the way. I find that is really important for me for time sensitive items, because throughout the day I'm bouncing back and forth between things at work, and the odd time some home stuff pops up, and I don't want to miss those time sensitive items. So I always set a reminder for me to do those things. It doesn't have to be on your phone, it could be on your iPad, it could be on your laptop. Google Calendar has reminders, those are all great. Whatever is on you or you're looking at for most of the day is the best way to set the reminder to get those things done. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I would love to hear your best tips on how you motivate yourself. Let me know down below. Please consider subscribing if you like this type of video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.